All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to Team Boxing League as we review Season 3. Ray Flores, joined alongside by my outstanding co-host, Amelia Moore. And Amelia, last week we started off with an East Coast matchup. This week we're still on the East Coast in Spartanburg, South Carolina, but we are sticking with the West Coast teams now. We transition to the West Coast teams as we have Las Vegas and Phoenix going at it. Should be a compelling matchup.
That's right. We have Phoenix and the Las Vegas Hustle that went undefeated all of Season 3, all the way up until the finals. So they were a hard hitting team, and Phoenix really gave them pushback. So excited to be able to rewatch this. Phoenix is definitely, I would say, one of my favorite teams along with Las Vegas. So very excited.
Well, David Hayes and company have the Las Vegas Hustle focused and determined. And Amelia, there's a lot of talent on this Las Vegas Hustle team.
Incredible amount of talent. I couldn't agree more. So much Cuban national Olympic level talent. And then just on top of that, you have to think about Vegas, right? Like Vegas is just this melting pot of boxing talents, one of the meccas in the United States. I feel like we have a few major pockets here in our country where Vegas, they have so much to pull from, and all of those athletes are within the city, and nobody gets flown in. So a lot of them actually get to not compete, but they get to train together.
Well, I look at names like Diane DePestre, Osvel Caballero, you mentioned about the Cubans, and they were certainly two big stars that were a part of the Las Vegas Hustle team.
Absolutely. I mean, DePestre alone has been he's been able to train with B&B and Terrence Crawford, so with Bomac, and was able to start off his pro career. And then we have Florencia. She's such an amazing talent, going up and down all season in weight classes to be able to fill in for her team. So another powerhouse, at least on the female side, for their team.
Yeah, and Florencia Britos was somebody that, she didn't stick to her weight class. There were holes that she had to fill in. And here's another top talent, Dizlan Gainza. But Florencia was willing to go up. She was willing to go down. So, and you need somebody like that on your team who's willing to sort of sacrifice and take on those bigger challenges weight-wise.
Yeah, and to be comfortable. I mean, she has such powerful legs. She's very, very powerful. I just have to correct myself. It was Dizlan Gainza that actually was the one who has worked with B&B and Crawford. So misspoke there, but yeah. So they really do have a stacked talent on their team.
Well, you see Osvel Caballero, and then also Heinrich Ruiz, who's a Cuban heavyweight. I mean, literally, when you talk about, having that Cuban influence, Las Vegas has it. But you know what? Cubans are really starting to, them as quality amateurs, and they've had success as pros, in spurts. But we're starting to see this influx of a lot of Cubans making waves in the pro ranks.
I mean, their style is so explosive, so fast. Their footwork is amazing. I mean, they take angles and they use such beautiful punch variation that it makes them very tricky to be able to compete against if you don't have good footing. I mean, if you're not under yourself and are able to really respond to that, it's game over. They're just gonna run circles around you, and you're just gonna get peppered and put down.
Well, here's a team that doesn't make it easy whatsoever, and I would say that they made some significant strides. I mean, talk about a team that made some massive improvements over the course of the year. They had a tremendous, home ring advantage when they competed in Phoenix. The Phoenix Fury, led by Sonny Gutierrez, who did a marvelous job as head coach of Phoenix.
Yeah, inaugural year for Phoenix. They came in not really knowing, obviously, it's what the whole league was about, but we're game and ready. And man, the talent that ended up coming through this team, we ended up having two athletes who were world champion kickboxers in the amateurs. To Tierra Brandt came onto the team. She actually just competed overseas. I can't remember which country, but she represented the U.S. and just won a pro fight in kickboxing, and then we had Rahmat Muhammad, who was a teammate of hers, and just crazy talent. So Tierra Brent actually represented at the last Olympics as a showcasing in kickboxing. So really interesting teammates that they have here, and those are all two athletes that are from Phoenix area. They're from the Mesa area.
When they have such pride in competing in Phoenix and representing, that area, and it has really been blossoming into sort of becoming this new hotbed for prize fighting.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I think that this region, and I'm speaking here. I am in Colorado right now, but especially, and this is not the Midwest. I don't even know what to consider this section of the U.S., but
The Southwest.
the Southwest, yeah. But like
Southwest.
Colorado, you've got this gap that happens between once you got Vegas to California, and then there's this gap that goes all the way through. I mean, people could say maybe Kansas City, but I don't think so. So the fact that there's this cultivation in Phoenix area that's happening, and it may become a bedrock would be fantastic. Because then it's like Texas has shows, Houston has shows, but now we're starting to get like there's more activity for local fighters in this region to be able to get some exposure.
And here we see Joseph Rivas, who came from a wrestling background, has transitioned into pro boxing, and had a stellar year here in 2025 with season 3 of Team Boxing League.
Yeah, took most exciting fighter of the year, and also had the most exciting round of the year, which I believe is this card.
Well, and also here's someone that made waves was Charles Pugh. He was a leader on this Phoenix Fury team, and I can't wait to see what season 4 brings for Charles Pugh and the Phoenix Fury.
Yeah, Charles Pugh, it's like, do not count him out. He's a powerhouse. So game, so ready. He's had such an interesting, colorful, expressive life so far. I mean, as far as doing other leagues, making it to the Olympic trials, and now doing Team Boxing League and moving into a more traditional pro side too. So Charles is, he's just out here doing side quests as a lifestyle.
Well, and what I love about Charles Pugh is that he's the consummate professional. So right now, if you're new to Team Boxing League or you're just stumbling upon it, or if you are a frequent viewer, you know that the first 8 rounds are the launch rounds. This is what propels you and gets you ready to go. The second 8 rounds are then the middle rounds, and then we end with the money rounds. But we'll start off with Florencio Britos of Las Vegas, really going ahead and trying to set the table for the hustle as they get ready, and we begin the evening here between Las Vegas and Phoenix, Amelia.
I always love that we are able to start up with the female fights. I feel like the ladies always do put on the pressure and the energy to be able to really kick off the launch rounds in such a beautiful fashion.
Well, how many times as we see Amber Summers for the Phoenix Fury do we see when it was the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, that the fight that people were talking about was that of, the women's fight with, Amanda Serrano and what they were able to do there.
Yeah, the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fighting, it's, everyone was tuning in for Tyson, but fortunately that draw was able to get eyes on the two ladies that are two of the most, obviously we have Clarissa Shields, but two of the most outstanding professionals that we've had that have really been able to cultivate this sport for us. So Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, I couldn't agree more. It's so much action, a lot of blood, a lot of crazy action.
Well, speaking of blood, even though you were successful in your performance last week that we revisited, you were bloodied indeed. And, there's just something about it. Women's boxing to me, Amelia, I think is at the highest point that we've ever seen it. And it's only continuing to get better. And Team Boxing League is very much focused on giving the women an opportunity to display their world-class talent.
Yeah, I could not agree more. It's especially, here we see it alone that the women in TBL have the opportunity to fight 3-minute rounds, and TBL has pushed this with the commissions, getting them comfortable with it, allowing them to be able to do it within our league. And it just creates so much parity. It's like the women have the opportunity, the women get paid the same amount as the men. There's so much that TBL is doing to ensuring that the women are been given that worth that they deserve.
Now, Amelia, I've heard on both sides of the argument when it comes to that 3 minute rounds that, Team Boxing League very much advocating it because the women athletes are requesting it. But I've also heard from some people, Lou DiBella, who is, used to run HBO, boxing promoter, he only believes that there should be 2 minute rounds. There are some who are saying, hey, because of the dangers that are involved in women's boxing and boxing in general, that it should just be 2 minute rounds. Where do you fall when it comes to this argument?
Yeah, and I know that the WBC just recently put out a pretty strong statement as far as them maintaining their stance. And I would love to see the full research of where they're holding grounds on that. However, I think everything I always believe that follow the science, but then look at the test group. What's the age and the exposure that the test group's coming from? I mean, we have to be honest. You look at test groups of men, a lot of males are in hockey, they're in football, they're in wrestling. These are sports that generate neck strength. So when they come with a stance that says women do not have the cervical strength that's compared to the male counterparts, well, are they coming from gymnastics or are they coming from, sports like field hockey or, tennis? Like, I don't expect a female that is coming out of tennis is doing neck strength exercises. So, it that's where my stance is. One, I know what I'm capable of. I also know that as a fact that concussions, the only way to mitigate true concussion is through neck strength. It's something like for every pound of strength within the neck, it's 5% reduction in concussion potential. So, you start looking at the real guts of the science, and that's where you start to create true argument, I would say. So sorry that I'm long-winded, but it's just like, man,
Yeah.
I have been digging into this, and I am curious because I hate biased science.
Well, I love the fact that, you do dive into it from a scientific standpoint. And, I think that you can't go wrong on either side. I lean more towards the 3 minute rounds because it's what I'm hearing from a lot of women professional prize fighters. So I'm leaning with the athlete. If the athlete wants to do it and they're willing to take the risk, then give them that opportunity. And as we have now Abel Mendoza, Florencia Britos just went ahead and was victorious. Aiden Garcia for Las Vegas. And Amelia, as we see here with Abel Mendoza, someone who's had a lot of fights, and I saw him fight in South Korea years ago, but, getting a platform here with Team Boxing League to go ahead and showcase what he can do against Aiden Garcia.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, is it Abel Mendoza has something like, was it 49 professional bouts? That's
Yeah,
an
it's up
insane
there. It's
amount of
nearly
activity.
50.
Yeah, crazy amount of activity. So just being able to bring that, high level of experience to bring it into the ring.
Well, right now it's 10-9 in favor of Las Vegas, so every round is scored via 10-9. Also, as you see some chopping right hands from Abel Mendoza, if there is a knockdown, it is 10-8, two knockdowns in a round, and that'll signal the end of the round, making it 10-7, and the opponent who gets knocked down twice is no longer, if they're scheduled to fight later on in the evening, they cannot compete. So Team Boxing League, we talked about how the safety of women's boxing, but Team Boxing League is all about the health and safety of the combatants and of the athletes.
And I'm
Right now,
putting that safety first in the forefront because TBL as a whole, it's very active, right? Like our schedule is stacked. So making sure that safety is on the forefront really ensures that the athletes are able to compete as much as possible and make money, but also that their safety is first and foremost.
and how much do you love the fact that when you go to a Team Boxing League event and you see some of these stars like an Osvaldo Caballero, a Dizlan Gaines, Raiko Santana, just to name a few. When it comes to, Philadelphia, you look at Jesse Hart, their team captain. You get to see the stars perform. And I know it's different, but, you're seeing it. And I love the NBA. But when you're seeing the NBA, guys take maintenance days and don't necessarily play every game. With Team Boxing League, when it comes to these world-class competitors, as long as they don't have a cut or they didn't break their hand, you're going to see them give it a go on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, I love that, Ray. And not only just once, you may see them get in the ring 2 times. They may be in the launch rounds, the middle rounds, then they close it out in the money rounds. So you get to see the names and the faces that you want compete 2 times in one night. So, a little double dose, which is fantastic.
Well, we mentioned names like, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, Alicia Baumgartner, also a world champion, and Clarissa Shields. I could see a case where when they are done competing professionally, that if they want to continue their professional careers, they could find a home here with Team Boxing League because they obviously have the credentials, they have the aptitude, and if they still want to compete at a very high level, here we go. Here's that opportunity, and you're only competing at the max 2 rounds over the course of a night.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's a great idea. We look at athletes like Paige Van Zant, who, I don't believe she's competing in the UFC anymore, but she's picking up side quests. I'll just say it again. It's my word of the night, but side quests as far as doing like the slap boxing thing or, other types of leagues that are popping up. This is obviously a more, a standalone true blue boxing venture, but yeah, it gives an opportunity on both sides for prospects to be able to gain experience and athletes that may be on their way where they're like, I'm want to retire, but at the same time, I need to get that flavor. I got to get that taste every once in a while.
Well, and also, when fighters retire, some you either see them, retire at their peak, or most times than not, they don't, and they hang on for too long. Whereas, you can end your professional career, but then jump into Team Boxing League, and you can still test yourself in a different way. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you focused. It fulfills that quest for competition. You are dealing with a very live opponent who's trying to knock you out, but you're not having the pressure of having to deal with a 10 to 12 round fight that we see at that championship level. It is championship caliber inside the ring, but you're not dealing with the duration of a championship fight.
That's such a great point. And to add on to that, Team Boxing League encourages the athletes to continue with their sponsors, and so again, you can carry those over as long as it's in line, and tasteful, but carry that revenue stream for you into TBL. So it's really kind of a win-win and a great way to either step into the traditional pros or a great way to kind of bow out of the traditional pros.
Absolutely, and we just saw, a victory for the Phoenix Fury. Abel Mendoza victorious, so we are even at 19 apiece. There's now Abriante and Alan Medina matching up, two guys who are in their early to mid-20s going at it here, and they are letting the leather fly. Amelia, too, when it comes to Team Boxing League, is that, these fighters, I could see a case where when you're a world champion, and you have 18 months in between fights sometimes, because that is the case, because inactivity is a significant thing when it comes to professional boxing. I could see a case where maybe this season coming up, then we actually have a current world champion who's like, let me stay sharp, let me be a part of Team Boxing League, and let me help out a specific team that wants me or my hometown team, because it's only going to benefit them.
Yeah, keeps you sharp, keeps that, and you can perform really well in sparring, but the performance anxiety or, just having the pressure of being in there it's a different level, and it's keeping that sharpness, keeping that comfortability under that spotlight is so key. Look at Terrence Crawford. He is competing once a year at this rate. It's pretty much been every September for the last 3 years in a row. So, not that I don't expect TB to get into the ring with TBL, but, I think you make a solid point there.
Well, look, it is an option, especially when you have like a cruiserweight champion or guys that you necessarily are not cracking high seven figures. It keeps you busy, it keeps you active, it keeps you sharp, it keeps you in the mix. Look at Jesse Hart. Jesse Hart was able to have this sort of resurgence, and I think that he would agree with it, because of the fact that he was a key component and one of the leaders of that Philadelphia Smoke team. Another name, Steve USS Cunningham, former world champion, 46 years of age, great, phenomenal shape. He has his son, who is now, you hear about LeBron James and his son, Bronny. Well, Bronny don't play much. So I'm just telling you that flat out. Well, you know who fights a lot? Is Steve Cunningham Jr., who's fantastic. Father-son duo on the Philadelphia Smoke team. So it's an opportunity for fighters, whether it be past, present, or future.
Yeah, and it's exciting to I love the Cunningham senior junior duo. That is like I was so blown away by Junior's talent too. But the stories though, the fact that TBL has really been huge on being able to get those stories out, to be able to connect with the athletes, that there are faces and efforts so much more than just in the ring. And I think that that marketability also goes so far for these athletes where they may not have the opportunity or to be afforded that space to be able to get their stories out, because it means something. It means something to connect with sponsors. It means something to connect with fans, and just bring them into a whole new light. So it's being able to even have those stories is so cool.
Well, and the activity and the schedule that TBL has. We remember years ago when there was a lot of boxing happening throughout the United States. And let's just, talk about the elephant in the room as Las Vegas is victorious here in the third round. There aren't as many boxing events happening because they are going overseas to Saudi Arabia, to the UK, to Japan. But now, as you see Bubba Jenkins, our colleague there, we'll let Bubba go ahead and take this, and then we'll talk about what I love about the TBL schedule.
The crowd felt like you won your round, and definitely your team felt like they won the round, but the judges saw it differently. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I can feel the same way at the end of the day, but the judges' scorecard is the judges' scorecard. No matter how I feel, the crowd feels. There's no way to go around it, so no excuses. Just got to work harder next time, get back in the ring, get back at that, win next round for my team.
I understand that. So you're going against Medina next in the 12th round. Medina's a veteran in this game, a good fighter for Phoenix. How do you feel about that matchup possibly a little bit later?
He is a very sharp fighter. I think it's going to be very good for the fans. We're both sharp. Man, I'm telling you, the real winner in that fight is the fans, because they're going to get one hell of a show. I promise you that.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much, Bubba Jenkins, joining us, and Aiden Garcia. I love the passion that we see, and that's, emblematic of what Team Boxing League athletes are all about, Amelia.
Yeah, it's I like the fact it's such a great angle to be able to talk with the athletes in between the rounds, be able to get their take on kind of what's going on, getting a check-in with the teams, the energy, talk to the coaches. Like it's fantastic. Like having our ringside analysts and commentators right in the bullpen is it's great. Being live, being in the mix.
Well, speaking of being in the mix, we have the fourth round, Islam Gainza, Rahman Muhammad. This is one of these matchups that I really enjoy watching between these two world-class performers going at it.
Yeah, the reflexes on the two of these guys is just phenomenal. I mean, we're looking at a world-class fight, world-class round. Woo!
Wow, look at that right hand drop in Islam Gainza. Rahman Muhammad with the rocket.
Telling you, Rahman, he gained, I believe he was nominated Rookie of the Year, so well earned. And I had said in once he accepted his award that, gosh, these promoters, I hope that he gets a huge opportunity in the traditional pros. This kid's talent is like, I mean, we're just scratching the surface here. He's had such opportunity with some of the really big talented names throughout this season, and he just delivered every single time.
If you could buy stock in a TBL athlete, you obviously being one of them as well, that you can sort of get it at a bargain price right now.
Yeah.
Rahman Muhammad certainly would be one of my top that I would try to buy stock in, because this kid is on a trajectory upwards and he's only getting better.
Yeah, I mean, he's already, as a youth, he was a world champion in kickboxing. He's been all over the world. Like, I want his trading card. When is that dropping?
Well, and he's so athletic, but kickboxing, when you come from a different combat sport, it's not the easiest to transition into traditional boxing, and he has done it. He's swimming so well and so easily and looking phenomenal.
Yeah, smooth, fast. tricky. It's great footwork, good length, knowing his distance. It's been the two of these guys, this matchup is just incredible.
What and it blows me away as Dizon Gates are trying to figure him out is that he transitions from southpaw to orthodox and does it so effortlessly without putting himself in any danger.
Which is crazy. And I know that especially with, I feel like I'm referencing Terrence Crawford so much lately. But let's be honest, there's really only like a few select switch fighters. And now because of these guys, they're so highlighted and they're in everyone's face, they're realizing it. This stance of switch fighting is becoming a little bit, it's been more of a draw. So seeing that alone and seeing him do it so well, because it's not easy, right? It's not easy to be able to learn something proficiently in two different ways. So he does it very, very effortlessly.
And he is marvelous at it. And the reason why you attribute Terrence Crawford quite a bit is that you spent a lot of time in the gym with, people are saying the world's best pound for pound fighter. And I tend to agree with that. I say that it's disputed because it is of opinion, but Terrence Crawford, what he did to Canelo Alvarez, going up the weight classes that he has, 147 unified undisputed champion, never been done before in the four belt era. Going up to 54 for a cup of coffee and then going up 2 weight classes to defeat Canelo Alvarez in front of 70,000 people. I mean, unbelievable. His career was already complete after he beat Errol Spence in the fashion that he did. So you being there and seeing the style and seeing the work ethic from Crawford, obviously I know only benefits you and your career.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't be around athletes and character like that and not kind of just like absorb it. It is like it's a different world. I mean, it's incredible. I've been back at the Olympic Training Center sparring the last 2 weeks, and again, it's that same vibration of being around elite athletes that just makes you rise, and you see things that you would never see anywhere else. It's a whole different type of imagination and creativity.
Well, right now here in round 5, we have Dijon Todorov and Reynero Salgado, 154 matchup. Phoenix on top, 38-37. To Las Vegas, we are revisiting week number 6 of Team Boxing League between Las Vegas and Phoenix, a West Coast matchup here in South Carolina. Happy holidays to all of you and your families. But Amelia, what I love about Team Boxing League, among a plethora of things, is you were training with Terrence Crawford and Bo Mack and that entire team. But when you go and you also compete with the Boston Butchers, when you go to the Boston Butchers, you can tell your teammates, like, hey, this is what I learned being in camp with Crawford. And then you have another teammate who is in camp with, let's say, a Canelo Alvarez or a David Benavidez and say, hey, this is what I learned being with them. And then on top of that, the world-class coaches that are with Team Boxing League. It really is just a melting pot of knowledge, which is why we are seeing such compelling matchups, and every round is must-see.
Yeah, that's such an amazing point. It truly is. Where we're working together to be able to really raise everybody up in their talents. And, again, it's like when you're around each other, I do believe as much as we learn from our coaches, we learn double from our peers. So watching someone's energy, watching how they do things, training together, and being able to put all of the best pieces together really helps everybody cultivate, a better fighter.
And as the rounds progress and I see all of you, when you're competing, you're there and you're, urging on your teammates, or when they come out of the ring, you might say something along with the coach and be like, hey, I saw this. How about you do this? It's all just things that you learn from, but together you all come as one unit. You come out together, you leave together. I love, I'm in the hotel, so I'll tell the viewers at home, I see the teams, they eat together, they train together. You guys are all very much thinking in the same way, but you're your own individual.
Yeah, it's such an amazing dynamic where it's not like you and your 2 or 3 cornermen. It's you, and now you have 16 to 18 pairs of eyes giving you feedback and also yelling instructions from the sideline. I mean, there's a different type of support that comes from these teams that you may never feel before. You don't make weight by yourself anymore. You travel together. It's just a completely different atmosphere than I think a lot of us are used to.
Well, and right now we just saw Reynel Salgado look outstanding, Amelia, and Reynel Salgado is one of those quiet storms for the Las Vegas Hustle. You know, you have Osbel Caballero, Dizlan Gainza that were making waves, Heinrich Ruiz as well. But you know, as we just saw with Salgado, he was one of those fighters that you cannot sleep on because he made a lot of noise during the course of season 3 of TBL.
He did, and what a fantastic way that within that last 20 seconds of that round, he really sealed it out. I mean, he was already winning the round, but you know, people talk about how do you do what's the tactic? He pressed on the gas and just sealed it out. So if there was any possibility, he just closed out the whole round.
And you know, and Amelia, you know, the importance of understanding that you want to fight throughout the entire complexity of the 180 seconds to 3 minutes, but you want to start strong, you want to end strong. That's something that, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard did so effortlessly and did very well, which is what led him to having such a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, keeping the eyes of the judges on you, you know, and they really, that's something that we're told as athletes is like, you only remember what you last saw. So if you make it a point for them to always keep their eyes on you, you're going to be winning the round the whole time.
When you look at Team Boxing League as you observe the entire, you know, league as a whole, as you have Portuando and Pettis matching up, every team has its own unique identity. You know, you mentioned about the team aspect when it comes to this and how prize fighting is almost the complete opposite. The way I would equate Team Boxing League is when you watch collegiate wrestling and you see the top teams just going at it, you know what the Iowa Hawkeyes are going to bring to the table when they step on the mat. You know what Penn State is all about, what the Nittany Lions are going to present to you, led by Cale Sanderson. The same is being said about Team Boxing League, which is something that you don't see in combat sports. That's why college wrestling is very popular, especially when it comes to the tournaments. But Team Boxing League gives this to you on a weekly basis for at least 4 or 5 months during the course of the year.
Yeah, I mean, something to connect with. And we've talked about this before, but especially because of the TBL is so new yet. I mean, we're in our third season, about to go into our fourth season here. Potentially, I believe that they're tentatively starting in April. So everyone look out for tryout notifications in March and in the early 2026. But these teams are primarily made up of local athletes. So to get these their cities and all of the surrounding areas within their state and their region of the country to be able to get behind them, you really do get that flavor of whatever that city has to bring to the table.
When the energy, the passion from the fans, you know, boxing right now is not as busy when it comes to being in the local markets. You know, you used to see 10 years ago, there was prize fighting and boxing happening at every major casino around the country every Friday and Saturday. And unfortunately, with how fights are going overseas and you know the networks not necessarily being as involved as they were, that is not the case. But Team Boxing League has an incredible schedule. I would say that the Team Boxing League in one season probably does more than all of U.S. promoters do in the course of 2 years combined, and that's all of them. That's all the major promoters, and that's no knock on them because they have to be able to go and keep their finances in line, and they're making calculated decisions. But Team Boxing League is like, look, we have a full season. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go to different cities all over the United States, and we're going to bring the excitement, the energy, the passion, these world-class prize fighters to your city.
Yeah, I think it was something like 18 weeks, not including playoffs. And of those 18 weeks, almost every Friday and Saturday, they had double headers. So 18 times 2 times 2 of the amount of fights that you were going to see, that's an outrageous amount of matchups. You know, we would have, 46 matchups in one night. Insane.
I mean, it literally is just nonstop pulsating action. That is what you get. And I have to tip, if I had a cap, I would tip my cap to the entire Team Boxing League, Brain Trust, Kevin and Michael and everybody that works so hard and literally puts themselves financially on the line. Because this is not when you're bringing teams of at the minimum that I see on every team is 12. On top of that, the coaches and other members and then staff and then handling the production as well. It is not easy whatsoever. And Team Boxing League is investing in something that they are passionate about. It's only getting bigger, badder, stronger, and blossoming, but they are literally putting their money where their mouth is. We got Bubba Jenkins with the special guest.
It is going crazy in here. A couple upsets. Las Vegas looking confused. We got referees need to make a decision. But I'm here with the Hall of Famer, Jay Snyder. His son is one of the referees tonight. But I wanted to ask Snyder, how you feeling about TCL, the Combat Boxing League?
Oh, man, I love it. It's action-packed. It's not anything dull. They box a lot like I used to. Yeah, just keep going forward and keep on punching.
Well, you said that you would win in this league because you like to be in their face. One round, every round's the 12th round. How do you feel about the concept? How do you feel like you would do today?
Oh, I believe at 64-year-old, I'd still be competitive.
Yeah, OG.
But, yeah, I like it. Yeah, because every round, you protect yourself when you're fighting for your life in there. So one round, you really got to be sharp and be on your toes.
Absolutely. Well, we out here, we're watching it, man. We're excited to have you. Thank you for coming out here. Your boys refereeing.
All right. Well, you don't know who's going to show up to a Team Boxing League event. Jay Snyder with our very own Bubba Jenkins, his son, refereeing this 7th round with Diane DePestre of Las Vegas and Andrew Hernandez. And it just goes to show you, anytime you come to a Team Boxing League event, you never know who will be in the crowd.
Yeah, there's always people. I think it's brought some of the retirees and a lot of the athletes that have built this sport. It's spiked some curiosity. I have met some of the most random people you didn't think would be there. Mickey Ward pretty much came to every single show that was in Boston in season 2. It was pretty awesome to get out of the ring, and he grabbed my glove and he looked at me after one of my rounds against I think Philly, and he was just great job. And I was like, holy crap, it's Mickey Ward.
And look at that, Amelia. I mean, credit to you for what you obviously do inside the ring and also from a commentary standpoint. But the fact that Mickey Ward is an absolute legend. He had a movie created about his life, for crying out loud. The Fighter, that was a blockbuster. And there's a knockdown there that we see. My goodness. Oh, my goodness. As we see Diane DePestre putting down Andrew Hernandez. Well, and Mickey Ward would love something like that. I mean, those words that he had with Arturo Gatti, but he is old school, loving this new school kind of concept with Team Boxing League.
He is. I mean, like I said, he showed up to every single Boston bout that was in season 2. So it was really cool. I mean, and it was like he'd be sitting there just eating popcorn, just really engaged.
Diane DePestre is trying to finish off Andrew Hernandez. That'll end Hernandez's night. 2 knockdowns in a round signals a TKO victory. But look at DePestre go. The power that we're seeing in Amelia. There's a reason why there have been so many people high on Diane DePestre.
Yeah. He's also calm, though. You can see that he's taking his time in the sense that he knows it's going to be there, but not rushing it. And then down goes Hurricane for the second, 2 knockdowns, and that'll be considered a KO or a TKO.
Yeah, 10-7 round for Diane DePestre, victorious, and that'll add. And also later on in the night, if Hernandez is scheduled, then that'll be a 10-9 in favor of Las Vegas, and that's a huge momentum swing for the Hustle. Yeah, so they were supposed to see each other later on in the night, but not to be the case. Look at that left hook. Oh, my goodness. Amelia, let's look at these. Look at that right hand.
Oof. coming in with that overhand right.
Yeah, Hernandez in bad shape, and two right hands putting him down for the second time in the round. That is away, as we have one more round in the launch rounds before we get ready for the middle rounds. That's momentum, especially as we advance here between Las Vegas and Phoenix. So 10-7 round, Diane DePestre making short work of Andrew Hernandez, who fought hard but just could not hang on.
Yeah, and what a point swing too. I mean, Vegas would have been behind, and with that round, that 10-7 round, now they're ahead by 2 points. So from going from being not in the lead to now being in the lead by 2 points is an incredible point swing.
Round 8, our final launch round between Las Vegas and Phoenix. It just goes to show you that you have to be at your best at all times. And we have Hyrick Ruiz and Elijah Akana. Elijah Akana from Hawaii and now competing for Phoenix. 21 years of age. He had a very entertaining and grew throughout the course of season 3. And I think he has a very big upside as we head towards season 4.
Yeah, he has great footwork. He's a solid boxer. I would like to see him stay at cruiser as a personal ask. Elijah, I know I've said this to you already, but they needed to fill a heavyweight position. I just would rather see him. I think he performs better with his size being a little bit smaller. So, or being with opponents that are a little bit smaller. So, but he's so quick that it's like he's able to get the better of a lot of these heavyweights because he's so fast with his footwork, so fast with his hand speed, and he boxes very, very well.
Well, and he obviously dealt with some heavy hitters, only 21 years of age in the heavyweight division. I mean, heavyweights are getting bigger and stronger, and they move like lightweights. So the fact that he is taking that leap up to represent his team in the heavyweight division, I think speaks volumes as the kind of competitor that Elijah Akana is.
Absolutely. Yeah, no fear. I mean, you in that division, you've got people like Patrick Mailata. I mean, massive. He is a huge human. I stand next to him and I'm like looking. I always have to look up because he's so big.
Yeah, Skylar Lacey as well that we've seen compete with
like
Team
6'7".
Boxing League. Yeah, I know. It's just it's the world of the giants when it comes to the heavyweight division. But then you also have someone who's like 5'10", 5'11", like Bryce Taylor, and Bryce Taylor known to win championships within Team Boxing League as well. So just all goes to show that size could help you out, or also a lack thereof could also benefit you depending on how you fight.
Very true.
Good right hand there by Akana as Hyrick Ruiz trying to walk him down. A 66-64 in favor of the Las Vegas Hustle as we are under a minute to go in this final launch round. But, Elijah Akana, I would love to see him at cruiserweight if that is to be the case. But, Amelia, this experience at heavyweight, when he does compete in the cruiserweight division as a professional, it's going to really give him that extra boost because he's dealt with these big, tall heavyweights in real competition.
That's a real point to make. I just from my own personal experience, I helped O'Shea Jones get ready for her 154 title fight and had usually never sparred people that big. I mean, I fight 135, 140, and I walk around 141 pounds. So it's I knew that I would never have an issue with a pressure fighter ever again after working with O'Shea so closely. So I think that there's really something there to be said when you do step up, whatever that doubt may have been, when you start holding your own, you really hang on to that.
Well, speaking of hanging on, Hyrick Ruiz hung on, but Elijah kind of knocked him down at the end of the 8th round. Well, Las Vegas just got a stoppage victory, but how about Elijah kind of coming up big for his team at the end of the launch rounds, Amelia?
Absolutely, and I believe that ties them leaving the launch rounds, which is crazy.
And look at that beautiful left hook. I think it was on the ear, and that affects the equilibrium and thus sending down Hyrick Ruiz to the canvas.
A little bit to the back of the head. Beautifully capitalized on Hyrick Ruiz just getting a little wild, and Akana just being able to capitalize on that.
10-8 round for Elijah Akana. We are all even up at 74 apiece as we get ready for the middle rounds. You are watching a recap of week number 6 of season 3 of Team Boxing League between Las Vegas and Phoenix. Las Vegas trying to quiet the upstart Phoenix Fury, but the Fury are fighting with quite a bit of ferocity as we come back with the middle rounds on the way. All right, welcome back to Team Boxing League as we are revisiting Season 3, Week number 6 between Las Vegas and Phoenix. And Amelia, we are even at 74 apiece. Round 7, a stoppage victory. Round 8, Elijah Akana came up big for Phoenix. Talk about shifts in momentum.
Yeah, it's been a back and forth between the two teams. We've seen several knockdowns, one stoppage, point swings, and now we're going into the middle rounds, and you really, really, really want to capitalize on the middle rounds and not go into the money rounds behind.
I love it, and the middle rounds are so important. I mean, every round is so important, but as we progress in the course of competition, you see that, the stakes are raised and continue, and there's Joseph Rivas, who, what an entertaining fighter. I mean, we use that, occasionally, but he really is the epitome of all action all the time.
And Cavallero is amazing, amazing talent. Very smooth. And it's just, I feel like Rivas really shocked everybody. They weren't sure what to do with him. He comes forward. He doesn't care about being in an exchange where some people are not comfortable being under fire. He could take a shot and come right back. And it really just, I think it caught people off guard tremendously.
Well, for Osvaldo Caballero, he's undefeated at 6-0 here at this point this season. But Joseph Rivas, you saw his record, but his record is not emblematic of the kind of talent that he brings to the table. He comes from a wrestling background, has a USA wrestling tattoo there on his left pectoral muscle. So he's learning the sport of boxing, and the learning curve is not easy in boxing, Amelia, as you know, but he has adapted very well, and he has a style that fits him.
Yeah, and it's a little unorthodox. His background is like you said, he has the wrestling background. He was traditionally a Muay Thai fighter. He was on scholarship to go to college for wrestling, had a knee injury, had to switch stance from orthodox over to southpaw because of that lead knee injury to be able to protect it and put it behind so nobody would kick it, became a chosen southpaw, and yet here he is. Like, this kid's story is just one of just resilience, adaptability, and he fights the same way in which his story has unfolded.
Well, and he's only going to continue to get better, and he's learning a lot there with Osvaldo Caballero. But Caballero, so slick and smooth and looking for his shots. It doesn't matter what kind of pressure or duress he's under. He's so relaxed and composed in the ring.
I love seeing the way he surfs from angle to angle. I mean, he just, makes that exchange. He's going left. He's throwing punches. Now he's going right. He, rolls a punch. It's just, I love the way he surfs back and forth. And a lot of people are not comfortable with that, but he does it seamlessly.
You want to see what Team Boxing League's all about? Look at this particular matchup. The slick smoothness, the pure boxing ability, the lengthy amateur background that Osvaldo Caballero brings to the table, matching up against Joseph Rivas, who got an opportunity, was able to learn the sport of boxing, aggressive, ferocious, tough as nails, and now they go at it, and it's providing for a compelling matchup. There's a slip there moments ago by Caballero as the final moments of round number 9 as we begin the middle rounds. And look at Rivas just charging right at Caballero. And the physicality of Rivas as well. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he tries to, throw his weight around a little bit within reason, not breaking the rules, but that's what Joseph Rivas is all about.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to try to give anything to him, he's going to give it right back. The kid is so game.
And I think with Osvaldo Caballero, he appreciates the fact that Rivas was not in awe of him, because it's very easy when you're dealing with someone with that kind of amateur background and the success that he's had in the pros to be complacent. Rivas is not that. He goes after you from the first moment till the end of the round.
That's such a solid point. I mean, it really, whatever your reputation is that precedes you, there are athletes where it gets in their heads, they get in the ring and they almost over respect that individual and allows them to get almost that momentum going beforehand. Whereas Rivas, he doesn't care who you are. Like, you could be the president, he's gonna punch you in the mouth.
Well, that's a fact, and not that we're advocating that, but I mean,
No.
it's just true. I mean, Rivas would fight, I would say Anthony Joshua if he had the opportunity, if they paid him. And as Osvaldo Caballero remains undefeated on the season, but Rivas certainly learned a lot from that. But when it comes to with Team Boxing League, you have these different styles. You have these pure boxing, technical, these unbelievable technicians, as we're seeing some of the action here by Caballero, his beautiful counter punching. But then you have the aggression of Joseph Rivas, but it's never boring. It's always so entertaining. You're always like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? How many times, Amelia, do we see over the course of prize fighting? And it's sad to say, but, there are times where fights can be quote unquote snoozers. And with Team Boxing League, there's never a snoozer from round 1 through round 24 when you are watching these two teams compete.
And the officials will even tell you. The officials are, we come to a new city. The commission's never dealt with or been involved in one of our events before. They ref and judge a TBL event, and then we come back after a couple weeks or a month, and they say, man, we've had a few traditional fights, and we're so excited to have you guys back. It's so exciting. It's exciting for the refs, for the judges it keeps them engaged as opposed to kind of falling asleep at the wheel for fights that are, again, like you said, snooze fest. So it really has reinvigorated the sport.
And when you watch a Team Boxing League event, when you have a particular matchup, as we're right now watching Florencia Britos and Amber Summers, Britos was victorious in the launch rounds, 84-83, the score for Las Vegas, but it is, a single individual matchup is no longer than 2.5 hours. So that is perfect. I mean, it literally is nonstop action from the first moment till the end. And in this new age where everyone's attention span is sort of, split in a million different ways, Team Boxing League's like, hey, here's 2.5 hours of nonstop, all action, some incredible fighters. They're going to go at it at each other. You're going to get some knockdowns. You're going to get some stoppages. You're going to get some blood. You're going to get some guts, everything in between. And that's what Team Boxing League is all about. And I love it. I think it's fit for 2025 as we head towards 2026.
Absolutely. Anything could happen. Anything literally could happen.
I said this on commentary because, I'm being in the ring. I love being in the ring. I love talking with you ringside. But, spending some time with Justin Shackle and Beto Duran and Dave Von Temple, our entire staff, is that my thing when it comes to Team Boxing League is expect the unexpected because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, literally, the championship was ridiculous between that we saw. It was just nonstop. I was blown away by what we witnessed over the course of the playoffs and during the regular season. It was just something new every single week.
And then on top of that, there's other opportunities. Even in the finals, we had the championship bout against the two finalists, and we also had the all-star teams, which was an additional, it was a doubleheader night. We had all of the athletes that were the top athletes from each team coming together to form two teams, and that is like, to me, that's the championship fight. It was like, gosh, you have no idea what's going to happen because it's top talent against absolute top talent. And there's these opportunities that the athletes are getting that it just doesn't happen anywhere else.
Yeah, and look at in the All-Star, for those that didn't watch the All-Star matchup, Raico Santana looked amazing there, and then he parlayed that into fighting on the undercard of Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford, in front of 70,000 people, and he wiped out his opponent in under a round.
Yes, he did, and he literally said, post-interview, he was like, TCL, he attributed everything to his Team Boxing League time.
Well, yeah, because you only get around to go ahead and do your work, and he literally did that but in front of 70,000 people. This prepares you for those bigger moments. And also, Team Boxing League is not saying, oh, you have to, honor your particular contract. You hear about the politics in boxing, and I think that that is something that has turned some people away from prize fighting, but that's not the case with Team Boxing League. Valencia Burritos goes 2-0 on the night, victorious. But Team Boxing League, and you can attest to this specifically, Amelia, they are so behind your hopes and your dreams, but they're like, here's the platform to compete with the team. But if you get an opportunity to fight for a world title or you get a big professional opportunity, we're behind you. Go do it. Come back to us when you're done, and then let's rock and roll.
100,000%. They are not going to hold you back from other opportunities. And they believe that the farther that you grow and you reach, it's helping TBL also. So it's, where a lot of times you get stuck in contracts, you can't do anything else. They kind of tell you what to do with your life. It's TBL's like, come, put your heart out there. And if something comes up, you let us know. And it's just about a respect of having good communication. And they say, go do it, go shine. We'll be here when you get back. And what a comfort to actually be supported. I think that a lot of times the athletes they feel like racehorses where they don't have a say, they don't get to advocate for themselves. But, Team Combat League's not that way. They want what's best for the athletes.
Well, and I'll also say, even from a commentator's perspective, I mean, I was a part of season 1, got an opportunity to go to Asia and spend a couple years in Asia, came back here in season 3, and I was welcomed with open arms. I'll tell you this, when it comes to the broadcast business, that don't happen. That is non-existent. But it is truly, and I don't just say this to say this, I say it because it is facts, it's reality, it's the way that it is that Team Boxing League is a family. They are about the caliber of the athletes and the staff, and I love it. It is amazing, it's refreshing, it's something that's needed, and it's something that I think is going to continue to grow and develop. And, fight fans, let us know, what matchups do you want to see next year? Because the more input we get from you, listen, the higher-ups will listen to you. It's the facts, Amelia, you know that.
Yeah. I mean, this is still, we're going into season 4. We're still in the infancy. Every year has been exponential growth. I mean, you can see it from every angle, whether it's just the broadcast, the extension of the teams, the extension of the season. But this company, Team Boxing League, cares about the growth of this, and they want it with quality. And so, I mean, I think it shows, it speaks for itself. So it's like, the fans, you guys, those who are the followers, those who are watching and big supporters, reach out. Reach out on social media, reach out through the website, and put your thoughts and comments in, because they want to create quality. They want to create good fights. They want to draw everyone in. And it's, I couldn't agree more.
Round 11 between Yusnel Abrayante and Abel Mendoza. Mendoza got his hand raised in the launch rounds, 94-92 the score for Las Vegas. And also, when you come to a Team Boxing League event, as you see Abrayante throws Mendoza on the canvas, when the fighters are either before or afterwards, is that you athletes, Amelia, are so accessible to the fans. I remember before our championship, one of the All-Stars was talking to a group of probably about 30 to 40 kids from the local Phoenix area that were just in the gym to learn about the fitness of boxing. And one of our fighters took about 30 minutes before he had to go and compete at such a high level. After the fights are over, you can go and you can get a photo with the team captain from New York or Philadelphia or Las Vegas or Phoenix, and get them on your social media, either former world champions or future world champions or up and coming prospects. It's fan friendly.
Yeah, and even so, like at the events, the corral where the athletes sit is right there up against the crowd. And so as much as the seats, as it grows and grows and grows, there's going to be way larger numbers. But right now, especially, the corral is right there. I mean, you can see it even on the broadcast that it's so close to the crowd. They can, you can talk to the athletes almost. You can see what's going on. You can see them warming up before they get in. I mean, it's like ringside seats every single time you go to an event. I mean, you tell me, even when I went to the Crawford Canelo card, I was on the floor, but there's only, it would say only the first 10 rows are really on the floor. Here, you're right there. You're getting ringside view every single time you show up.
You know me, Amelia. I am a diehard Chicago Bears fan, but when you go to these NFL stadiums, there is such a thing as the cheap seats. We'll get back to my point momentarily, and Bubba Jenkins standing by with a couple special guests.
I'm excited. These boys are cracking me up. I'm here with Jay, the Hall of Famer Snyder, and his son, Jacob Snyder, who is doing his first pro fight tonight. How do you feel about what you got going on tonight?
I'm excited. This is new boxing to me, but I love it. It's very exciting.
Now, your dad said he would be great in this because he came forward. How do you feel being your referee and seeing what your dad said? How do you feel about the Team Combat League being something that you could be a part of?
Oh, yeah. Well, I got to get back in shape. I'm out of shape. But start back running and working out, I'll be ready to go. I'll be good at this one round.
Yeah, what do you think about the fast-pacedness of this versus what normal boxing is?
Yeah, normal boxing is a little slower to start out with, but this is wide open to get-go, so it's good. I love it.
Every round's the 12th round. Pops, every round's the 12th round. With you being that knockout, go-get-em type of guy, you need one round or you need 12? What do you feel?
Oh, one round would be perfect. You don't really have time to study your man, so you just got to let them go.
Yes, sir. No filling out process. Let them go. Team Combat Boxing League style. I'm here with the
Bubba Jenkins joining us. Love to see that, and the passion from the referee and his first pro fight there with his legendary dad. And I mean, the stories go beyond just the fighters and the coaches. It extends even to the personnel that helped to put on the event.
Incredible journey to be able to witness. And we'll end up seeing him again. What a great shot by Alan Medina, just connected with a great left cross.
Yeah, you gotta love that pinpoint accuracy there by Alan Medina. 104-101 for the Las Vegas Hustle over the Phoenix Fury. Round 12 here. We're in the middle rounds, but getting back to my point about how you mentioned when you go to a TBL event that you are literally on top of the action. That's the case. I love going to Chicago Bears games. I love going to NFL games. I love going to sporting events in general. But there is such a thing as the cheap seats, the nosebleeds. That's not the case when it comes to Team Boxing League. It is on top of you. It's an intimate setting. And the cheapest ticket, quote unquote, in the house is probably some of the best seats that you ever will have to watch professional prize fighting. You can hear the smacks, you can hear the punches, literally, and in any other particular form of entertainment, you're not going to get that.
You can hear the corners. You can hear the corners yelling
True.
to their athletes. That's how close you are. It's crazy.
I love it. It really excites me, and it is a fan-friendly product first. And there you go, Amelia, as you were working alongside Beto Duran during the course of that when we were, on Merit TV. So I thought that was really cool.
It's been this entire experience with TBL for me as an athlete, all the way from competing to having the opportunity to be able to sit with people like you, Ray, like Beto. It's been an amazing experience. Just exposure that never in a million years they're like, what's on your bingo card? Well, I didn't think this, but I'm glad it is.
Well, the admiration is mutual. I mean, your enthusiasm, your passion, and just your ability. Beautiful right hand there, as you talked about, by Alan Medina. Your ability to just break things down, also compete at such a high level. And also what people don't know is that when we are, during the course of the season, we're on the road a lot. And I don't know how you maintain your nutrition, but you do. And it's something that I have been able to pick up from, and a lot of the other staff members have, and you do a marvelous job at it.
Oh, thank you so much, Ray.
Even such a thing, I mean, you don't realize what goes into prize fighting, but when you were breaking down, sleep and REM sleep and everything else and body recovery, it was like you were speaking a foreign language to me. But, as a world-class athlete that you are, it's something that is so important for you to prepare to step inside the ring. And I'm sure that it's something that you share with the Boston Butchers team, again, coming from a different walk of life, using it to help out your team, because that extra 2 or 3 hours of quote unquote REM sleep will help you recover so you can push even harder during the course of TBL action.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, it just again speaks to that the light of bringing resources in that some people may not have, may not be afforded, you know, like there's not the opportunity to have nutritionists, to have you know, individuals that may be really proficient in certain areas that you need help with, and then you get that exposure. And so it's been an interesting journey. It's literally pushed me to get my sports nutrition certification, to be able to dig into some of the sports science and help some of these athletes that, you know, I saw some of my teammates last year. I was like, why are you doing it like that? Have you tried such and such? And be able to help each other and receive and give on both ends. It's just been, it's more than just traveling and fighting together. It's definitely a growth experience.
Well, and it's iron sharpens iron, and that's exactly what is a part of Team Boxing League. Whereas to me, there's no drop off. You know, when you look at an NBA roster, you'll look at from 1 through 12, and you know that there's a drop off when you get to that 10th, 11th, 12th. I mean, there's still NBA caliber players, don't get me wrong here, but there is a drop off. At Team Boxing League, there is no drop off. You know, from the moment we start to the moment that we end, any one of these fighters could quote unquote be a standalone main event anywhere in the country, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah, they it's the a caliber of athlete at any time, and just the quickness of pace at times where the we said you can't ever blink, anything could happen at any time, you know, and it's not taking your opponent for granted. If you happen to have more experience or think you do than that person's just as game as you are. You have to be on your toes. They've asked me, I've had been asked many times about, you know, what's the biggest thing? It's you have to be first, you have to be sharp, you got to be smart. And like that's probably the pillar post of being a successful athlete in Team Boxing League. You know, first, fast, smart. And you do those three things and you execute those proficiently, and you're going to have a good season.
Well, right now, Darian Castro is having a quality season against Shaquille Felicia, round 13. Las Vegas on top, 113, 111. The Phoenix Fury in their debut season. It is season 6 that we are revisiting. Happy holidays to all of you and your families, as every single week from now until season 4 in 2026, we're going to be revisiting some of the incredible high-octane matchups during the course of Team Boxing League, and looking forward to season 4. Follow us on our social media pages. Tell us the kind of matchups that you want to see. If there are fighters that are not in Team Boxing League that you're like, hey, try to get this person or that person, by all means, men's and women's fighters, it is there because free agency is a big thing. I remember talking with Sonny Gutierrez, who's the head coach of Phoenix, and he was already looking at adding to his potential roster and trying to bolster his team, because he believes that next year in 2026 season 4 they can make a run at the championship, and they had a very good effort. They were in the semifinals.
Yeah, Sonny was telling me about the crazy flood of athletes that had been reaching out to him, coaches that had been reaching out to him halfway through their season, and he was in shock, absolute shock. But then he got really excited because he said, you know, just wait until season 4. This is gonna be great. I've got something happening in the background, and I'm excited to see. I'm so happy to hear of the increased interest.
Well, and it's only going to continue, Amelia, because it gives a platform, and we've been saying this at length, to fighters to stay busy, stay consistent, really exhibit your world-class skills at such a high level, and be a part of something special, because at the end, there is a champion. As Las Vegas gets the win, 123, 120 here in the middle rounds. There is a season champion, and when you make the playoffs, you obviously get more money, and when you advance in the playoffs, you get more money, and when you were the champions, it's a championship payout. So it's huge. There's a lot on the line, and it gives fighters an opportunity to stay busy, stay sharp, and also, if you get an opportunity to, let's say, compete in a main event during a big professional prize fight, you are absolutely allowed to do so, and you are, they sort of push you in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love the, bringing up the point about the championship, the playoff rounds, where there is a bonus amount. So it's like whatever rounds that you participated in the regular season, it compounds over, and the farther you make it through the playoffs towards the finals, that compounding factor percentage grows and grows and grows. If you've competed every event for your team, which could be 8 events, with those rounds, and then you go through to all the way to the finals, that is a hefty check to close out your season, secure, and really give yourself, give yourself a foundation to be able to do something with, to be able to move your career in the pro side, and that's a big thing. Money is a factor. It is a factor to be able to create opportunities in the traditional pros, and TBL's creating that.
When, as we have right now, round 14, Raiko Santana and Artem Brusov, light heavyweights, as Las Vegas on top by 3, 123, 120. You hear it in a various array of from fighters that are like, oh, well, I'm fighting for this particular bonus, or I'm fighting for that particular bonus, or I need this bonus because my salary or what I'm making per fight isn't enough to really give a very good life to my families. That's not the case. And I don't just say this because I'm a part of the team. I say it because it's reality. I literally do not hear that from any fighter, and there are probably over 250 fighters that are competing in Team Boxing League. And we all know, we know 25 fighters, and of the 25, at least 2 or 3 are going to be unhappy regardless of what's happening. Team Boxing League, that's not the case. Everyone's happy, everyone understands the opportunity, and everyone comes to fight every single week.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling to be able to be rewarded for your worth and effort that you're putting forth in the sport, that you're not settling, hoping that something will come out of it just from that performance. You're making more than a living wage. It creates hope, it creates drive. And I really do I say that from my perspective. Whereas my first year, I was a little skeptical. Leaving Team USA, leaving my Olympic pipeline to go into the pros and kind of make this step from the semi-pros and then eventually turn pro. It's nerve-wracking, but then it's like, wait a second, leaving the amateurs, which you don't make anything, and then with a big knockout.
Big right hand there by Raiko Santana. Oh man, Brusov down and out. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that'll be it. Or is he going to continue? Yeah, that's it. I was going to say, the referee was like, yeah, I'm going to give you an opportunity, but Raiko Santana put him away. Oh my goodness, Amelia.
That kid
Thunder
has
from the Fury.
Bricks for hands. He has just absolute bricks for hands.
Look at the passion by Raiko Santana with the Phoenix Fury.
And his team's going crazy. Team's going crazy.
Oh, and let's take a look at it. Walk us through what we just witnessed.
Beautiful. Beautiful right miss and go.
Poof. Right there on the button. What do they call that, Amelia? Is that a push and pull? Is that what it is?
Yeah, or miss and go. It's like a slip and go.
Beautiful right hand there by Raiko Santana. Unbelievable. And that is some of the action that you're going to get on a consistent basis. That is our third knockdown, and we're not even through the mid-rounds, Amelia.
So much more action to come.
Listen, I have been, and I have had I'm very blessed to have an incredible career, but just in general, there are cards where, you're part of, and there are no knockouts over the course of a fight. And that's okay, but let's be honest. People love knockouts. Here, 3 knockouts that we've seen, and we're barely a little over halfway through. Wow, Raiko Santana putting a statement, 10-7 round, a massive point swing for the Phoenix Fury. And thankfully, Brusov, he's being looked at again. The safety of the fighters in first and foremost. And, he's walking out in his own power, and that's great to see. As we are revisiting we'll go back into the studio with someone we know quite well.
Big KO back inside the TCL Team Boxing League headquarters, Beto Duran, Amelia Moore. Amelia, when you hit somebody flush like that, I've heard fighters say it doesn't even feel like you hit him hard.
I don't know. I mean, I can feel it all the way through my hand. When that connection comes, it's coming out of your toes.
But when it's flush, though, it's a special feeling.
It is. Yeah, that was like a textbook right hand. I mean, just a slip and a boom coming right off of it. That was beautiful. I mean, I want to see it again.
It's good for Brusoff to get checked out by the doctors. Of course, the extreme caution is what we care about here at TCL. But a 10-7 round is huge for Las Vegas. And it's now time for round number 15 in South Carolina.
All right, now we are on round 15 as respite in action. We are back and ready to go after that incredible knockout by Raiko Santana, 10-7 round. And we are getting it all set with Dinardo Minor and Charles Pugh. Pugh, who is a consummate professional, one of the bright spots, one of the many bright spots for the Phoenix Fury.
So I wanted to just mention, because I don't believe Charles was in with Minor the earlier in the launch rounds. And that's something that's very unique, that we have a couple weight classes that have multiple athletes. So you'll have 2 for that weight class on each team. And potentially, looking at the money rounds or launch rounds, you may be with a different opponent. So that doesn't happen in the traditional pros, but it happens in team combat league, team boxing league. You may potentially have 2 different rounds, have 2 different opponents, 2 different completely different looks. So something very special to be mentioned.
Well, yeah, and Amelia, you might be dealing with, if you're a conventional fighter, you might be dealing with the southpaw in your first round, who's a slick southpaw who moves a lot and has that sort of East Coast slick Philly style. And then you're dealing with an aggressive fighter from, let's say, Los Angeles or Phoenix or Las Vegas, and they're coming at you and they're trying to knock you out, from the moment the bell rings. And that's what you can deal with over the course of a night.
Yeah, you have to be adaptable, and that's really something about, if you have a fantastic round in your previous rounds, you got to come back in for one more. You can't get caught up on that last win or that last performance. You got to shift gears, know that you have another opponent ahead of you, and be ready to meet that challenge.
Beautiful right hand that we just saw by Charles Pugh as Minor coming forward. And Amelia, look at the score. 130 apiece. I mean, would you have it any other way between these 2 teams?
Here we are again at the end of the next round of fights, just like it's almost a repeat from the launch rounds where we're tied with the score. And what is going to happen? I guess the money rounds, here they are after this round and the next one. Who's going to be ahead? Who's going to close it out? It's just been a tit for tat the whole time.
They are certainly battling here, and this is only week 6 that we are revisiting, and we're just going to go all over the course of, building and leading up to season 4 in 2026. But, last week we had week 1. That was fantastic between New York and Boston. Now we're in, week number 6 between 2 West Coast powerhouses in Las Vegas and Phoenix. Final moments of round 15. But, and also there were teams that we saw from Nashville, from San Antonio, from Houston, Los Angeles as well. There's no such thing as an easy matchup here when it comes to the Team Boxing League. And round 24, these 2 will match up, and round number 16 is on the way. Final middle round between these 2 teams, Las Vegas and Phoenix, colliding. Again, follow us on our social media pages. Let us know what you think of season 3 and also what you would like to see in season 4. We, definitely pay attention to any and all suggestions as we are waiting the scorecards for round 15.
And we have a winner.
Charles Pugh gets his hand raised, and a nice win for Charles Pugh. Again, showcasing the kind of professional that he is, Amelia.
And I love the fact that this card with 2 West Coast teams is being held in South Carolina. Oh, Bubble Jenkins will hold that comment for a second.
What's going on? Yeah, I'm here with the Phoenix Fury, and they got the fire. I'm here with Jofas Rabias and Rahman Mohammed, who got a big knockdown earlier, put his team in position to be where they are right now. How do you guys feel about what's going on right now tonight?
I feel excellent. I mean, it's a real close one. I mean, anytime you go against Vegas, it's going to be a tough one. But, I mean, that's what we're here for. So, we just here, and I'm very optimistic that we're going to pull through it.
And your performance?
Pressure on a guy that I knew was going to just run the whole time, not really want to fight, but he got a lot of skill. Hats off to him, We know it's going to be a tough fight. We know it's going to be a tough team, and we're trying our best out there to do what we can.
Well, with you getting those big points and you having the fight that you had, how do you feel about Phoenix' pursuit on being upset-minded tonight?
I think as long as we stick to doing what we do best, which is being us, we're going to get it done, period.
The upset's coming.
Yes, sir.
Now the Phoenix Fury, very confident indeed. And now we have the heavyweights, Andrew Tabiti and Adam Stewart. Tabiti, former cruiserweight contender, competed in the World Boxing Super Series, went all over the world, and, now getting an opportunity here with Team Boxing League, Amelia.
Yeah, Tabiti's he's excellent talent to watch. And I feel like this has been a good opportunity for Adam Stewart to grow. He's had a lot of different looks. I think that the heavyweight division, it's very difficult because there's not a ton of different looks. You go to nationals as an amateur, you're not going to have a lot of people in that weight class. You really need to make Team USA. You need to be able to go fight overseas. And if you don't, there's not a huge pool to be able to pull from. So, Adam, I think that this has been a great opportunity for him to grow. And then here he is in here with Tabiti. And it's like, now he knows, this is a huge learning opportunity. I mean, look at Tabiti moving around like twinkle toes. I mean, he's, like you were saying, you've got heavyweights that are moving like lightweights.
Well, and look at that right hand there by Tabiti. And Tabiti at one time was signed to Mayweather Promotions, and Floyd Mayweather very high on Tabiti, and he's had a very good professional career. Hasn't been a world champion, but he's one of those guys that was always in the mix, especially at cruiserweight.
Great work with the jab.
We have under a minute to go here in these middle rounds as Phoenix on top, 140 to 139 to Las Vegas. Las Vegas also dealing with quite a bit of resistance from the debutant of the Phoenix Fury here in Season 3.
I feel like Phoenix was really the only team that gave them pushback throughout all the season. I mean, they really had shutouts with most of their other competition throughout Season 3, but Phoenix kind of neck and neck the whole time. They just did not care.
I recollect when Las Vegas went to the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, and they hammered the Philadelphia Smoke and really, beat them on their home turf, and that was significant for the Las Vegas Hustle.
And just to segue off of that home turf idea, so right now we've got two West Coast teams fighting in South Carolina, and I love that aspect of also not fighting in your hometown, not having home field advantage, not having your refs or having any type of, maybe a possibility of any bias, but you actually get really clean reffing to be able to leave and go to different areas. And I think that it's special, and where we can have fairness in the sport, that sometimes is not afforded, and there's a little bit of a bias where people are coming to other people's promotions, and that's always a problem. But here we're trying to create as much fair play as possible.
Well, and also, it's almost like when you are a college football team and you're playing in a bowl game and you're on neutral site. That's exactly what it is. I mean, You're literally, you could be a team from, let's say, the East Coast taking on a team on the West Coast in Nebraska, or San Antonio, Texas. Tabiti gets the win to conclude the middle rounds. And, oh, boy, we have the money rounds on the way. Expect incredible action as both teams are going at it. And once again, we are even at 149 apiece, Amelia, much like the end of the launch rounds.
It's a repeat.
Well, get ready, as there must be a winner. The launch rounds are done. The middle rounds are done. The money rounds are on the way. Las Vegas and Phoenix even at 149 apiece. Welcome back to week 6, season 3 of Team Boxing League. Ray Flores, Amelia Moore. Privileged to be joined alongside by the coach of the year of season 3 here in 2025, Coach David Hayes, Big D himself of the Las Vegas also. Coach, we've missed you as we're watching your team compete against the Phoenix Fury. Right now, we are even at 147, getting ready for the money rounds. How would you review season 3?
Season 3 was awesome. We ran through it, man. Season 3 was awesome. It was awesome. It was pretty challenging, but we was doing our thing.
Amelia?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Hayes, you guys went undefeated for the entirety, unprecedented, had never happened. We made history in Team Combat League, and Team Boxing League, with going the entire regular season undefeated. And you said, it was challenging. You guys were on the road a ton. You weren't able to compete in Vegas. How did you handle that? What was that like? People are curious. I think this is the opportunity to be able to kind of just share part of the story.
Yeah, me and the coaches, we instilled that Viking mentality into the guys to go to people's homes and take it from them. So even though we was on the road, we was always confident, and we all had that conqueror's mentality. Rather than defend your home, we went out to conquer land. Conquer different teams. That's the mentality we took into season 3 because we knew we had to have that type of mentality going in with no home fights.
Right now we're watching round 18, Luis Portuando, DeAndre Pettis, as we begin the money rounds. Coach, one of those big road victories that you had among many was when you went to Philadelphia, 2300 Arena, a hostile environment, and you guys dominated the Philadelphia Smoke. What did a win like that mean to the entire team? Because at the time you were both undefeated.
Big smile
that
on
win,
Coach Hayes' face.
Man, that win right there meant a lot to the whole team because the whole season that matchup right there was the build up. They was building that match the whole season, and a lot of people thought we didn't deserve our spot, so we had to go and show them we was the number 1 team.
Amelia?
Oh, apologies, I just lost some of my my camera.
Hello, can y'all hear me? You good?
Oh,
yeah, we hear perfectly.
Yeah, so we were able to, Coach Hayes, we were able to talk a little bit about kind of the dynamic of your Las Vegas Hustle team. For the most part, and I think this was special compared to a lot of the teams, was that the athletes a lot of them trained together. Is that right?
Yeah. Most of the team is in Vegas. Only a few guys wasn't in Vegas, but for the most part, the majority of the team, we all trained together. Yes, throughout the whole season.
I mean, I would say Phoenix Fury, that team was very homegrown. So a lot of those athletes are from that region, from the Mesa, Phoenix area, surrounding area, but they weren't all out of the same gym. So I think that really gave you guys a different type of advantage where you had a lot of the athletes from your team, most of them were in the same gym. And would you say that was an advantage?
Yeah, it was an advantage because we developed a real brotherhood. Everybody had each other back. Everybody supported each other. So no matter how dark and how tough the match got, we all had each other's back.
Well, you certainly very much had this level of chemistry amongst each other, Coach, and the talent level that we see with the Las Vegas Hustle and throughout Team Boxing League, I think is very special. You have been a part of the sport of boxing for a long time, as we're seeing some of the action from round 18. But how special is Team Boxing League, because it's given fighters an opportunity to stay active, stay busy, compete at this world-class level, but also then they can continue their professional careers as well.
Yeah, it's very special because, as you know, a lot of boxers, they get blacklisted, they get put on the shelf. this sport right here gives them an opportunity to be seen, and fight against those matchups they normally wouldn't get. So this league is really helping a lot of fighters and a lot of athletes out.
Fighters in the ring. We just need an announcement.
Amelia?
Apologies, just waiting for the
Oh yeah, the decision, yes. And Phoenix Fury victorious there. Coach, before we get back to Amelia, when you are in the trenches and you are such a motivator, your entire coaching staff, but what are you telling the athletes and the fighters as it literally can change from 1 minute to the next? There might be one where you're ahead by one, and then your fighter suffers a 10-7 knockdown, and now you're down by two, and then your fighter goes out and gets a 10-7 knockdown, and then you guys are up by one. It's just the shifts in momentum are unbelievable.
Man, it is crazy. All I tell the fighters is to stay locked in and stay confident. We're gonna get it done, no matter what. We're gonna get it done. And I always tell that guy that cost us the point, you owe us one. You owe us one. I need you to get that back for us, son. I need you to get that back for us. They normally come through.
Would you say that there's a lot of, because there's so many different opponent changes and you were fighting so often, I mean, it could be every week for a couple weeks in a row. Is there a lot of opponent study in preparation? How do you handle that with such a large team?
Yeah, it's a lot of hours of watching film because it's not like it's a single opponent getting changed. It's still a team at the end of the day, so you're not going to change the whole team. So for the most part, you can watch the majority of the fights and develop a real game plan.
Coach, I think you watch more film and more tape than what NFL coaches do when it comes to how much and how well prepared you are and getting your Las Vegas Hustle team ready for battle.
Yeah, man, a lot of hours. A lot of hours. If you want to be a winner, you got to put them hours in, man. Film is very important.
I feel like I watched more fights than I've ever watched in my entire life throughout season 3. That is heck of an education. You just see so many different styles with each round, with each day that goes by, with each matchup. It's crazy to watch.
Yeah, that's why you gotta really study because those matchups are very important. You gotta make those right matchups in the money round because they can either harm your team or help your team in the money rounds.
And also, Coach, when it comes to the
important.
talent, when it comes to the talent level here with Team Boxing League, this matchup, is one of many. Darian Castro, Rahman Muhammad. I think this could be a main event anywhere in the United States, no matter where you put it, no matter what platform it is.
Yes. Those two are definitely meant for each other. They always had great matchups, them two. They're very similar. Their styles are very similar. It was always tough. This matchup was always tough the whole season.
Would you, I guess a lot of the audience may not know exactly how the money rounds are decided. Would you like to give any insight on that?
Yes, basically the money rounds is up to the coaches. Each coach get to pick a match, so you get 4 matches each. And normally the coach that win the coin toss get the first pick, and then the second coach get the second pick, and so on until you get all 8 matches in the money round. So that's why you have to be studying. That's why you have to know your fighters and know your team because, the match, you seen what matchup was that? Was it Los Angeles Dallas? You see Los Angeles Dallas. Dallas made a mistake in that money round. Los Angeles had like 4 knockouts in the money round. They won all 8 rounds to win that matchup to put them in the playoffs.
Well, and here's a knockdown for Darian Castro of Rahman Muhammad. As I'm sure that brought a smile to your face, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Right hook with a straight left.
Oh yeah.
Making it look easy.
Boy, this matchup right here was crazy. I think I had like 4 heart attacks doing this fight.
Coach, before we get ready to let you go,
Right when I thought we had secured, something crazy happened. I was like, what?
Well, that's the thing with Team
Oh my
Boxing League, Coach.
God.
Expect the unexpected, right?
Oh my God, bro. This match right here, I will always remember this one right here because this is what sparked our undefeated run. This matchup right here. When these guys came together to win this fight, the confidence went out the roof, and then we went on the run after this. But this Phoenix Fury matchup was definitely one of the toughest of the season. We had to fight hard for this one.
So compelling indeed. Final question for head coach David Hayes, Amelia.
Take it away, Ray, if you have one. Honestly, I wanted I don't know if you're staying on with us or if this is it, but my honest question is going into those swing rounds, because this is the matchup that went to the swing rounds and was that final decider. I mean, talk about having a heart attack. Any thoughts on that final round? Which was
not even the final
it's
round.
the Caballero Rivas.
Yeah. The Caballero rounds what gave me the heart attack. When Caballero scored the knockdown, I said, yes, we got it secured. And then Rivas 10 seconds later dropped him. I'm like, we going to double overtime? What's going on? I almost had a heart attack, man. So then this line had to go and get it done. This line game is the one that won us the fight.
Coach, as we prepare for season 4 in 2026, what are some things that you're doing when it comes to free agency? It's the free agent period right now, and also things that you're looking to implement. You came up short. I know you wanted to compete in the championship, win the championship. That didn't happen. What does Las Vegas have to do in order to be the season 4 champions of Team Boxing League?
We just have to make a few minor adjustments. The adjustments has been made. I've been scouting. A lot of those young, talented fighters. I've been scouting a lot of young talent. But yeah, we just have to make a few minor adjustments in a couple weight divisions, and we definitely gonna get there this year.
What's
Coach,
the best
greatly
way
appreciate that. Go for it, Amelia.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, Coach Hayes, what's the best way for athletes to reach out to you? Obviously we're gonna have a tryout period, but if they want to reach out, ask you questions, come out to the tryouts, what's the best way to get in touch besides going through Team Boxing League?
Just hit me on Instagram, Big David's Conditioning. Big David's Conditioning on IG. Hit me up and I will respond.
There you have
Coach, greatly appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you and your family. And we cannot wait to see you in season 4 of Team Boxing League as Las Vegas Hustle, always at the top of the heap when it comes to Team Boxing League.
Thanks,
yes, sir.
Coach Hayes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Coach David Hayes, Big D from the Las Vegas Hustle, joining us and adding his expertise to what we were just watching, and also giving his introspective look as to what the Las Vegas Hustle are all about. And Amelia, always great to talk with David Hayes because he brings such an assortment of knowledge, and he truly loves the athletes.
It's been, to be able to have the time to chat, be able to reflect on what occurred, and I don't know, Coach Hayes, love your personality all the way down the route, man. It's fantastic being able to just chat it up with you.
13 seconds to go.
Thank you, Amelia. All right, guys.
Yeah, later, Coach. Appreciate it. There's I believe a slip there. It's some tempers beginning to flare.
Before I go, that was one of the other heart attacks right there. Winning the whole round and right at the bell. All right, guys.
Later, Coach. And we'll go back and look at this. And it was towards the end of the round, Amelia.
Oof.
Look at that right hand.
I mean, just staying on the gas. You can't get desperate. He just stayed on him.
Look at
like
that beautiful
4
right
hooks,
hook.
Back to back, left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook.
Yeah, he knew he was going to land one of them, and he certainly did. That right hook right there on the button, putting down the Las Vegas hustle, and then he's going and, saying, hey, I'm the one that knocked you down, and you're going to be victorious, but now they embrace, assign respect. Got to love that. Sportsmanship is paramount when it comes to the Team Boxing League, and again, seesaw action that we are witnessing.
And open yourself up and get wide.
Well, a 10-8 round in favor of the Phoenix Fury as the action continues to become more compelling. High drama here in South Carolina between Las Vegas and Phoenix as these two teams are colliding.
That was one of those rounds where Coach Hayes was going to tell him, you're going to have to get those points back.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Round 21 is on the way between these two teams. Rivals. I think we're starting to see a budding rivalry on the West Coast between Las Vegas and Phoenix. And 196-195, Phoenix has stormed ahead by a point. Andrew Tabiti back in the ring was victorious in his last time, taking on Elijah Kana. And these two fighters did not meet in their first round, their first appearances. And here they go in the money rounds, Amelia.
This is going to be a great fight. Both of them are very skilled boxers.
Now Andrew Tabiti, they touch gloves, and this is, honestly, these are two legitimately cruiserweights that are, fighting at heavyweight because their teams need someone to fill the void at heavyweight. So round 22 between Andrew Tabiti and Elijah Kana. Kana perfect in the season thus far up to this point at 5-0. Tabiti 1-1. And good jab there by Elijah Akana.
Both of them trying to box smart from the outside, using their length.
Yeah, it's clear, Amelia, that they respect each other's power.
Mm-hmm.
Like the right hand there by Elijah Akana. And, David Hayes, it just goes to show you that, even though they're composed when we see them on camera, they have so much stress on their shoulders because they realize that one match or one swing in momentum or one knockdown, one 10-7 round can make the difference whether or not you make the playoffs or you don't, or if you're the number 1 seed or you're the 4 seed. It's also important.
Yeah, it all plays a role. And then, if 2 knockdowns happen, now your athlete's out for a month's time suspension. If that 2 knockdown rule is considered a KO, and now potentially you could be out for 30 days on suspension. So you're really, I'm sure it's just sweating it and sitting on the edge of your seat at times in the corner, because now if you don't have a replacement, how are you going to make the adjustments?
Well, very true. And also, you do not, let's say, because the schedule with Team Boxing League, you stay active, you stay busy. You might have, another matchup or another 2 matchups. And if you're losing one of your stars because they suffered a 10-7 knockout, that's huge.
Yeah, I've mentioned it before on last week's stream that, Boston had to fight 3 times in a course of 15 days to be able to get into the playoffs. That is a hard, very hard charge, a huge ask on those athletes where they're literally fighting Friday, or Friday, Wednesday, to be able to make it into the playoffs. So it's just, God forbid you lose an athlete in the midst of that charge to try to even get your spot into the playoffs. That's going to be an unfortunate situation.
Also, you need to be able to make weight as well. Because you have to make the weight class. It's not like this is open weight, because it's not.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Doing it smart, while being on the road, while having back-to-back fights, all that stress on the body. I think it's something to be appreciated is that there is a couple pound allowance because, again, TBL, we've kind of been hammering it about how the safety is paramount for the athletes, and they do have that 2 to 3 pound allowance for that weight class. They want you to be hydrated. They want you to fight at a weight that is respectful of your body, and to be safe. So, but also fighting in a weight class that you're comfortable with. So being able to have a little bit of that float area, it gives you that potential, you know, that ability to be able to do it smartly and to be able to put this type of pressure on your body.
Well, and round 22 comes to a close with Andrew Tabiti and Elijah Akana. Round 23 on the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a decision.
Andrew Tabiti goes undefeated on the evening, handing Elijah Akana the first loss of season 3. We are even again at 205, round 23 on the way here. And Amelia, these two teams have continued seesaw action. It's been Phoenix on top by a point or two, Las Vegas on top by a point or two. We're even, and then we're back, and then it's just nonstop.
So now we're even in score going into the final 24th round.
This round 23, the penultimate round is where we are. Round 23 is 23rd round is where we are, and we're seeing Hyrick Ruiz and, you know, Adam Stewart of the Phoenix Fury, allowing him to have his proper introduction, and both guys looking to make a statement here in round 23, as we have scheduled one more round after this one in the money rounds.
Both fighters lost their earlier round.
Good jab there by Hyrick Ruiz, who is the southpaw out of Las Vegas, someone that I know that Dave Hayes is very fond of. Adam Stewart looking for the first win of his 2025 campaign. Again, every single week we are here leading up to season 4 on the Team Boxing League social media pages. You do not want to miss it. Next week we're going to come back with another incredible, exciting all-action matchup as we review. We'll be joined alongside by special guests and also just kind of dive into things. And one man that I really want to talk about that we haven't over the first few weeks, Amelia, has been that of Dewey Cooper, who does a wonderful job of handling fighter relations and is just so passionate and understands combat sports like the back of his hand, and has been such an integral part of so many careers. And him being here as one of the key components of Team Boxing League, I think just speaks volumes. And he's been with Team Boxing League since the beginning.
Yeah, our president of TBL, Dewey Cooper. I mean, just I can't speak highly enough of Dewey. I was able to travel a ton side by side, ask his perspective on things. He's been a mentor for me as far as commentating goes, believe it or not. Also, I think there's a lot of people that you meet and they sadly are not who you think they are. Dewey is really exactly the soul that he is, and it's refreshing to be around someone who holistically loves combat sports. I mean, he is a fighter down to his core soul and bones, loves to see clean progression in sport, and he really believes in what's going on in this. He's an asset and just such a solid human.
And let's be real, Amelia, Dewey is former fighter, trainer as well. He could go and be in the corner of any, top level boxer, world class, world champion boxer, world class mixed martial artist. But instead, yes, he does do that, but his primary focus is being the president of Team Boxing League and making sure that things are running efficiently for trainers and the fighters. And that is so just massive to be able to have somebody who's accomplished so much that is such a very integral part of Team Boxing League, behind the scenes.
Yeah, and the refreshing side of it too is somebody who has seen and worn the different hats. I think that's something that we need. A lot of times people get burnt out and they don't bring their expertise back into the sport, where he's been an athlete, he's been a coach, he's helped people kind of work through their management side of things, and now here he is building this league. And it's so important to have people who have been involved in every aspect, because that insight, and especially being a fighter and what the fighters need, and then the management side is so essential, to really create something that is a whole package, you know, and it just really involves everything. I can't speak highly enough of Dewey and what he's doing.
Well, he's so passionate as well, Amelia. That's the biggest thing is that he's passionate about what Team Boxing League is doing as we await the decision here.
Wish a little bit baller. Little skilo for you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Pyrick Ruiz gets the win, so Las Vegas on top. But Dewey has this passion, this love for what Team Boxing League is all about. And you see it when, you know, the fighters go out there and put on a marvelous performance. He'll go up to an individual fighter or to a team as a whole and compliment them and give them words of advice. And he does it with everybody. It's not just one particular team or one particular coach or fighter. He does it with everybody because he wants to see Team Boxing League continue to grow and develop and prosper because he believes in it first and foremost.
Yeah, it's insane to be ringside, you know, being in this position, being ringside, turning around. Dewey's going wild. He's on live streaming the event. I mean, he's so engaged with everything that's going on and invested in, you know, both teams. He wants the fights to be exciting. He wants the athletes to be successful because, you know, his passion project that is this league is then going to be successful. But man, it is hilarious. You will see him jumping out of his seat, doing live reactions for people that are ringside with him in the VIP seats. It's a riot to watch.
Right now, round 24, Charles Pugh and Donardo Minor. Right now, Pugh's got to get the win over Donardo Minor in order to send this to an extra swing round. And the pressure is on, but you're seeing Charles Pugh go right after Donardo Minor, who is looking for the biggest win of his season, or the first win of his season. If he wins, then Las Vegas will clinch the W. And Pugh, 21 years of age, but is just a consummate professional who has developed and evolved among the Team Boxing League ranks. Nice right hand as they are close at distance.
Gosh, a minute 45 to go in that round. You know, what do you think's going through Pugh's head? Trying to put the pressure on Minor, trying to get that point, win the round, maybe even drop him to be able to seal it out. Just literally fighting for the last bell.
Pressure is what Charles Pugh is thinking. It's like, let me go and throw punches and bunches, be aggressive, and really try to go after and attack Donardo Minor.
Bubba, that's not a good strategy if you're Minor trying to hold.
Charles Pugh is just bringing the intensity and the fury, so emblematic of his team's name, the Phoenix Fury.
Smothering Minor, so he can't get any shots off.
In the cruiserweights, under a minute to go here of this 24th round. If Pugh's victorious, we will go to a swing round. There must be a winner. This is not, you don't get a tie. In the NFL, when you go to overtime in the regular season, there is a tie. Not here with Team Boxing League. There will be a winner between Las Vegas and Phoenix. And look at Charles Pugh. He's unloading. Oh, look at these combinations that we're seeing from the 21-year-old.
Gas tank. Crazy gas tank on CP.
And Charles Pugh is really giving everything that he has against Donardo Minor. Nice right hand and still swinging for the fences. It's Charles Pugh. Final moments. Can Pugh get the win and send this into overtime against the Las Vegas Hustle? Well, we are moments away from finding out the verdict. Charles Pugh believing that victory is imminent. And we take a look at some of the action, Amelia.
Great distance control. Great fire back. And just smothering his opponent.
Yeah, he was smothering and hammering away upon Donardo Minor. As if Pugh is successful, we will go to a 25th round between Phoenix and Las Vegas here in South Carolina.
High volume fighter.
That's why you put him round 24.
Totally.
So we go to a 25th round overtime, a bonus boxing, compliments the Team Boxing League here, Amelia.
Into the swing rounds. This will be the first time we've reviewed it. Again, like you said, we don't do ties. We have extra matchups that are made in addition to those money rounds to be able to make sure that we have those swing round bouts loaded and queued. And even after some of those athletes may have already fought 2 times, they may have to get back in.
Yeah, so it might be a third time that they fight, and that's the only time that a fighter will compete a possible third time, and they are limited to that of a third round, but it is round 25, so 224 apiece. What a way for both teams to battle hard, dig deep, and come out even at 224. Awaiting round 25 here between these two teams. And I believe we're seeing Joseph Rivas step inside the ring for the Phoenix Fury, the entertaining, what a scrapper that he is. And look at the passion there by Phoenix, and there's Las Vegas. And Osvel Caballero, they had a heck of a tussle earlier in the launch rounds, Amelia, and now here we go with round 25 with everything on the line.
And when Rivas had the interview earlier with Rockmont and Bubba, he had his gloves off, so now he had to get his gloves put back on by one of the commissioners. That's hilarious.
Round 25, yeah, you always be ready, and Joseph Rivas certainly that way. A nice left hook there by Caballero to start. Caballero starting a bit stronger than what he typically does, Amelia.
Coming in with those lead hooks, trying to get on the outside of that southpaw stance of Rivas.
Good right hand there by Caballero, but Rivas certainly very dangerous. Nice left, sending back Osvel Caballero. Caballero undefeated on the season thus far. He has a win over Rivas earlier in the night.
Rivas doing a pretty good job trying to cut the ring down, even though Caballero his footwork is so good. Just like cutting the angles, getting out of the way, changing direction.
Yeah, Caballero is a technician, having that extensive amateur background from the Cuban School of Boxing, but Rivas is doing a very good job of chasing him and trying to make him uncomfortable and cut off the ring, and that's not an easy task to do, Amelia.
I wish Caballero had maybe just thrown some feints. I know that Rivas is putting crazy pressure on him. He keeps, no matter what angle he changes, he's back, he's firing. I'd like to see some more feints, and that might have separated it a little bit more in this round.
We are now in the second half of the 25th round. Overtime action between Las Vegas and Phoenix. Joseph Rivas and Osvel Caballero matching up, going at it for everything on the line here in this Week 6 Season 3 matchup. And right now, I still think this round hangs in the balance, Amelia.
Right now, yeah, nobody's made they've both kind of been back and forth. Nobody's really taken the lead yet.
Final minute, nice right hand there by Caballero, another echoing right hand as Rivas pushing the pace, a jab by Rivas and a left by Rivas, continuing to battle. Oh, down goes Joseph Rivas, a pinpoint right hand by Osvel Caballero.
30 seconds left in the round, round 25. Caballero thinks that he has it.
Caballero has dropped Joseph Rivas. Rivas has 20 seconds to go to work and try to find something, anything. Can he go ahead and swing things? Oh my goodness! Down goes Caballero! Wow! A knockdown by Rivas with 10 seconds to go.
Never in my life have I ever seen anything this epic.
Are you kidding me? So we're going to go.
Let him go. They should just let him go one more round.
Double overtime. Who would have thunk it? Unbelievable action. Rivas recovered within seconds and sends Caballero to the deck after he got blasted with a beautiful right hand.
And this is why Rivas is Mr. Excitement, because who would have thought that would ever be possible? Seconds to go.
Well, Amelia, we hear about the get back. How about that for being a get back? That's a term in boxing, but Rivas certainly got back Caballero. Unbelievable. I mean, that has to be, just an incredible, that's a moment. That's a round. TBL, that's exactly the kind of action you can expect. And get ready for season 4, as this one is going to be even. So we're going to go to another overtime round, double overtime.
Oh, tie.
One more overtime round, a double overtime round. And hey, we're going to keep going until there is a conclusive winner.
I believe this fight was kind of like it became the momentum of Joseph Rivas having fight of the night like 5 times in a row.
No question. This is, as we say, his coming out party. And the fact that he really blossomed and had to deal with that adversity